Hey, here I am. Okay, I'm trying a different camera this time. Hello, this is Marlene here, and I've been an astrologer for 28 years. So I just wanted to go over a little bit with what's been going on right now. I'm going to try to keep these a little bit on the short side. All of these transits we've had since May with the outer planet Uranus going into Taurus from Aries, because it's an 84-year revolution, it spans about 7 years in each cycle. So we just had a change into Taurus, and then now, these outer planets, some of the inner ones do as well, take their turns going in and out of retrograde. So when that happens, like it just happened last week, about 10 days ago, it went retrograded back into Aries. So what does that mean? Well, so first of all, if you're a Taurus or you have any planets in Taurus, and you may not know if you have any planets in Taurus, your moon might be in Taurus, your Venus, your Mars, or your rising sign. And Uranus would be aspecting that, which really creates a lot of upheaval, revolution, change, chaos. Those are definitely words that would describe Uranus, and I can go on, but I'll just make it a quick little snippet on that. So not only if you're a Taurus, but you're a Scorpio, if you have planets in Scorpio, and or you have planets in Leo or Aquarius, you may be impacted by this Uranian transit, which is definitely going to pull the rug out from under you. So now, but in addition to that, we had Mars retrograde. Now, a lot of astrologers don't really kind of count that as a relationship breaking up cycle, but it does create that because the Venus and Mars planets in our chart, Mars represents man, Venus represents woman, and when either one of those planets are aspected, then relationships really go on the blink a lot. A lot of relationships are really tested or on the rocks. If they've been on the rocks for a while, then there's a really high probability that they might break up. It just may well be time for some relationships to come to an end. So that's one, and then we had a Mercury retrograde and cycle in there. Not that that has to do with relationships specifically. It's the communication planet. It has to do with communications. But, you might have more arguments come up at that time. Not to mention all the mishaps that happen electronically. Like personally, I don't buy any electronics, whether it's a TV, another phone, certainly not a car. A lot of those things, including cars, break down during that time. But it still kind of can add an additional little spin if Mars is retrograde, which Mars has a 2.2-year revolution, so it's a slightly erratic cycle. So when Mars is retrograde, that cycle will last. It can be anywhere from 8 weeks, 9 weeks, usually right around 9, but can go for 11 weeks. I've seen it last pretty close to 3 months. Now that's a long time. It's a really long time for a cycle. And when Mars is retrograde, I like to liken, if you will, Mars like the gas pedal, because it's the war planet. It's our impetus, thrust, drive, how we go after things. And Saturn is like the brakes, putting on the brakes or caution. So anyway, then we had another Mercury retrograde cycle, and then we went right into a Venus retrograde cycle, which lasts usually right about 6 weeks. It's right about almost always 42 days. Venus retrograde happens about, I think in the old days, I used to know all the numbers because I've done this for so many years. I think it's 584-day cycle. Roughly, it's a year and a half. Every year and a half, Venus goes retrograde for 6 weeks. So we just actually completed that yesterday, but all of these planets have what we call a shadow period, which happens just prior to the retrogradation period, as well as just after. So, in other words, it doesn't mean that, okay, so now Venus is direct, oh, everything is back on track now. No. So there's still like a little adjustment period before things kind of, now it's like people are saying, well, gee, my relationship with this person has been on and off and on and off the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Yes, do I want to be with her? Do I want to be with him? I'm not sure. Well, we had a little spat. Well, I haven't seen him for 2 weeks. Well, I haven't seen her for a week or two. Let's see if there's anything left. Let's see if we can give it another go. So there's a lot of right brain, left brain switching going on, and thinking about these things, whether even if you're not actually physically doing it inside, the energy becomes highly internalized, and you're definitely thinking about and considering, well, is it really time to let that person go, or do we really have enough there to keep it going? And so now, interestingly enough, so Venus just, turns around yesterday, the 16th, and I'm just into the early wee hours of the morning now on November 17th, Saturday. And so within less than 24 hours, we have Mercury going back retrograde again. So that's another 3-week cycle, just a little bit over. So what is that going to do? It's going to draw that out a little bit longer again. So we still have this on again, off again, fits and starts with not only relationships, projects, gosh, I just can't seem to get the impetus and the drive and the desire to finish this project I was starting. I'm just not feeling it. Or you go to get together with this friend, and then you call me, you go, I'm not really feeling up for that tonight after all. And you cancel, and you've been trying to get together with that person for 3 times. Mercury retrograde, any of those planets, Mercury, Venus, or Mars, I call it let's do this 2, 3, or 4, or 5 times before we get it right. Because you'll notice, if you pay really close attention to the cycles, that's pretty much how it plays out. And now, I find it really interesting just before the holidays, when any of these planets, especially Mercury retrograde, a lot of people are buying electronic gadgets. Well, some of those things aren't going to work when the person opens the present, or a part might be missing, or it might be, well, yeah, I really did want a new phone, but that's not the particular model I was really interested in. So consequently, anyway, there's going to be more returns than normal. So I offer 15, 30, and 40, 60-minute readings. Let me say that again. See what I mean? Numbers, words, there's a lot of misinformation that happens at this time. So if you're getting addresses, phone numbers from people, make sure you repeat them back. So I'm going to say 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and an hour reading. Years ago, I used to only do 90 minutes. People don't really have that kind of time these days. You can get a pretty good amount of information in an hour. The 15-minute one, I'm just going to kind of do a test drive on that. It'll give somebody a little idea about how I approach the chart, and it would be quite, succinct and condensed to do a really quick reading, or it would be more like what areas of your life are you looking at right now, or I take a quick look at my ephemeris, what wouldn't your birth date, and then I look at, where we're at right now. This is our where we're at right now. That's how I can tell what's going on with somebody's chart when they give me their time and birth date, and then I run it. And yeah, it's another language. It takes a while to learn how to read and interpret that language. And so that's where I look at the ephemeris that I just showed you. So I can see where the planets are in the sky and how they might be impacting someone's chart like this, and then break it down for you and tell you what that means. Okay, so I'm going to close this out for now, and we will talk to you soon.